This is Chris and
Hello,
hey, listen, I'm excited because we are launching our new
our new
podcast.
couples
And,
podcast.
we really don't have a name for it right now,
Not yet, not yet.
but we're working towards that. And
Right,
so I'm really excited. Elle came to me with the notion of doing a podcast for relationships, for
right.
couples, and then also to help prepare those who are looking
Look at yep.
those who want to go beyond into a meaningful relationship.
Yes.
And so, but we're excited about it. And, it's very interesting, how we met. And anybody who knows me knows that I've told the story that I was on an organ at church. I was praising the Lord. And
Okay, okay.
as I was praising the Lord, the door swung open. And this little pretty young tenderoni came walking down the aisle with a short red miniskirt suit and the big hair. She had big hair, y'all, and those padded shoulders. And man, I saw them legs coming down, and I was like, I told the drummer, say, "Hey, I'm gonna marry her." and
I know. Listen, the skirt wasn't that short.
oh yes, it
It
was.
wasn't that short.
Oh, I'm pretty sure we can find
it
a
wasn't
picture.
that short.
Yeah, it was above the knee. Y'all
It was
better hear
above
me.
the knee.
It was above
It
the
was
knee.
above the knee.
And I said, my, let the Lord have his way. And
But you know what? Listen, you know what? I did not know about this story until our wedding day. And really not our wedding day after we got the video back
yeah,
because
yeah,
the videographer
well, people are giving their,
were giving
their
it
well wishes
their
and
well
comments.
wishes and stuff. And then the drummer at the time he said, "Man, when you said you was gonna marry her, I didn't believe you. I didn't know that you were." And I'm like, "What?" So it's a
So
true
let me tell you what I
story.
did. I went right after church, after service, and I introduced myself. And then I think we had a little jazz band. And I told her friend that was beside her, I said, "Hey, listen," I said, "now, if you bring her with you," speaking about Elle, I said, "if you bring her with you, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to have two comp tickets for y'all at the door." And that was on Sunday. They came that Friday night. And then we went to AHA. Oh, y'all know how it
See,
is.
you know the new people think that's something new where after you go out, they have it out, you go to
Oh,
IHOP
really?
apples. They must have, but that's we've been doing that a
Man,
long
listen,
time.
we went to AHA, and I had this brown leather bomber jacket. She said, "I'm cold." I put it on. I said, "I got it now. I got it now. She all
Really?
right."
Oh,
And just a few months later, maybe within a year,
within a year. Yeah.
we had a wedding,
Yeah.
and we went to New Orleans. I met her parents for my birthday. We flew down, and when we got back on the plane, I said, "I'm gonna marry you for real." And,
Okay, you know how now, ladies, y'all have these big old proposals.
oh, wait a minute! Don't you do
and
that?
stuff
Listen,
like that.
don't you do that? Do not.
Listen, no.
Listen, let me set my watch on you.
Let
'Cause
me tell you guys.
do not
I'm gonna
do
look
that.
into this camera
Do
right
not-
here. I'm gonna tell you guys.
Do not do that.
I don't remember no proposal.
Do not do
and
that.
you know what? He just said, "I'm gonna marry you for real," and I'm like, "Okay." And then we started planning the wedding. I'm like, "Wait a minute."
I had to
Thought
put on
about this.
I had to put on the timer.
Oh yeah,
I
no,
put on
I'm
the
just
time
telling the
because
true story that he said, "I'm gonna marry you for real."
You know,
I'm like, "Okay," and
she-
then we started planning. I'm like, "We,
You know,
we
you
engaged for real."
she tell the girls that all the time. You did and never did propose to me, but I did. When I said I'm gonna marry you.
Oh, that's a proposal. Now they have these big extravaganzas
Oh,
and
my
stuff.
God. Oh, my God.
They release
And they put it all on
balloons and
balloons.
and they do
have
all kind of
they
great
have the
things.
mob squads.
All that.
And they have. I saw somebody the other day did a proposal where the guy was like he's getting ready to get bombarded by a gang, and this police officer came up, and the girl was like, and he was trying to explain to the guys, "I didn't do that," and the girl was getting all scared, and then the guys broke out singing. I'm like, you know what? That's a little too much for me, But people do what they do.
I didn't have none of that.
Yeah. What you
I
had?
didn't have none of
What you
that.
had?
We just guess what? You said I'm gonna marry you for real, and I guess I said okay. We started planning the wedding, and guess what? September, not I'll say September, Lord, October the 22nd is gonna be 30 years.
30 years.
30 years. So,
So,
whatever you did work.
Hey,
Whatever you did work.
Would y'all say she was easy? She was easy, wasn't she? Let me look at this camera right. She was real easy. Come on, tell me, bro. She was real easy.
No.
Yeah. She was real
Okay.
easy.
Okay.
Hey, but check this out. You know, you said something. You say this all the time. That you've been with me longer than you were with your parents.
That's right.
And you said, and I started thinking about that. I said, man, this year, 2024, we're gonna be married 30 years.
Yep.
And we both will turn 60.
Yeah. Yep.
And when I think about it, I've been with you longer with you than I have with my parents.
Yeah.
And so I had never looked at it that way. And her dad would always say, "Well, Chris, we didn't do her nothing." That's that New Orleans talk. We didn't do her nothing. We didn't do nothing. She went off to college.
Yeah.
And she was like Alice in Wonderland. She wandered her way to the.
No,
to the
this
land.
I tell the story right after college. Listen.
See, we
Right
gotta
after,
be real with the people.
well, I'm being real. Right after college, I started working for a retail company, and they moved me to Pensacola, Florida.
Yeah,
Then
yeah.
I spent a couple of years there, 3 years there. Then they moved me to Mississippi. I spent a couple of years there, and then they moved me to Birmingham, Alabama.
Right.
And so I spent, look. As soon as I got there, I met him. See what the way God fixed it. I had to pick up a package, so I picked him up. And then we moved on over here to Atlanta, Georgia. That's
the
what happened, to the
ATL,
ATL. So, I said, hey, I was in Louisiana,
Yeah.
Florida,
Yeah.
Mississippi, Alabama, and then now we in Georgia. I had to pick you up so we can come here to Georgia.
What's really fun, I was thinking about it. My friend, we call him Ren 1010, Rennie. His real name is Ira.
Ira.
And we went to a Hawks game. And we were holding hands coming through the CNC. And he says, "Man, I know you love her because you holding hands and put."
You was doing that PDA.
Listen, public display of what?
Affection.
Our girls cringed.
You know what? Okay, we
You
gonna say
posted
this.
you posted a
I
picture.
posted a picture today. Really, I did a video. One of the pictures.
Man, it was like a what you call it, a collage, a video of collage of different
Of
pictures.
pictures. And one of the pictures, he and I was kissing. And they sent in our group text, they sent the message, "Why did you do this on social media?" I was like, "What did I do?" And they had they screenshot just that one picture.
Yeah.
Of the two of us kissing, like that, like something was wrong with that.
Wait,
Okay, tell me,
you
guys,
thought-
is something wrong with that? I don't
You-
get it. We
you-
married.
You was giving me a wet kiss. Was it a wet
It
kiss?
was a wet kiss. Yeah,
That's
it
what
was a
it
wet
was.
kiss. That's what it was.
That's what it was.
See.
what happened was.
I'm trying to see what's wrong with that.
Yeah,
They don't
yeah.
know how they got here. That's what I'm trying to figure that out.
Do you think something is wrong with public?
PDA?
See. Now I could go to the other side of that.
Uh-huh.
Normally, when you see people in public who kiss and really kissing, they ain't really supposed to be together.
That's
They know
right.
they ain't gonna see each other no times.
Okay.
So they're doing it. But on in this circumstance,
Right.
it was timely.
That's
And if I was her, I would want to kiss all this.
All right. You're right.
But hey, listen, it is what it is, and we make no apologies about it.
That's right.
But as we talk about this, we live in a day and age now. I was talking about after I went to New Orleans, I knew that I was going to marry you, and we were dating then. We were not, at the point of engaging or anything
Right.
like that. But you need to know what you're getting into. Oh my God, listen here, look at what you think about that, my friend. We need to know, you need to meet them parents, and them parents need to meet you. And my girl's gonna be mad, but I tell them all the time, y'all need to let me meet these little fellas. Okay. I am a pastor too. I be telling y'all, Ezekiel chapter 3, I'm gonna go to church on y'all. Ezekiel chapter 3, verse 7 says that I'm the watchman on the wall. I need to inspect that fruit.
Yep.
And because you be getting the people and stuff, all kinds of stuff be going on.
You don't know.
But when I think about this idea, and hey, we at home, so
Yeah.
it is what it is. Broom just fell. But when I think about this idea of marriage, here we are 30 years. And, the purpose of our coming together with this podcast was, I think you saw an article
Right.
and or saw something on TV. It was an article or something, and you say, "Hey, Chris, we need to do something," because at the time when you first saw it, I think it was like 50%
Yeah.
of marriages were not
Christian marriage.
Christian marriages
They weren't any. They said Christian marriages had dropped.
had dropped.
Right.
Yeah. And then I saw something earlier today that talked about 75% of marriages are in trouble. And, but, in order to get to marriage, I think really you have to be in relationship.
Right.
And that idea of collaborating together, about goals, aspirations, and things of that nature. And we could go on and on and on. But that's why we decided to do this podcast.
Right.
As a point of reference and inspiration, because there's so much going on in the world. There's so many podcasts. This is not a gossip podcast,
Right.
but it's an empowerment podcast.
Yeah.
And when I talk about it, here it is. We do those vows for better, for worse. Ooh,
And
Lord.
sickness and in health.
And in sickness. Now, if the truth be known, in life we'll have more failures than we will successes.
That's right.
Most people don't like to say that. I love to play golf, and some days I play well, and some days I act like I ain't never played before. But what I have discovered, you will lose more golf games than you will win. No person wins every day, and through social media, it has been a blessing, and yet it has been a stumbling block, because we see images of people in relationship, in marriage, and dating, or whatever, and everything looks, clear skies and smooth sailings, and then we see all these movies of people happily married, happily ever after, but they don't let us see the dark side.
Right.
The dark side of marriage. And so many times, let me just say this way, many times it will get worse before it gets better. And, so I really think that we're on to something here.
Yeah.
And I really think, our podcast is going to be fun. We're going to laugh. And, I'm always right. And you're going to learn that I'm always right. And I'm never wrong. I don't make any mistakes. And Elle is always right. She's perfect. She doesn't make any mistakes. She's always right. And the girls have to tell her sometimes, Mom, you need to watch the way you talk to Dad. They have to tell her that, because she be talking. Y'all see all that? Y'all see how sweet she is? She be talking to me any kind of way. And then she said I be talking to her any kind of way.
Right.
But at the end of the day.
I give up the right to be right.
Oh, wow.
So
No, you
so that he
don't.
could be right. So
No,
I
you-
give up the right.
No,
to
she
be
does
right.
not. No, she does not. No, babe. Nope.
So you can always be right, babe.
You don't do that. She does not do. Don't listen. Don't let the glitz and glamour
Hey,
fool
listen.
you.
But sometimes in relationships, we do have.
Sometimes.
You can't always.
Can't always be right.
with. There's compromise.
Yeah,
Yeah.
can't always be right.
Yeah.
But then it's good when you talk about for better or worse, and you talk about those times of disagreements. Now we don't have no knockdown drag outs, but we do have disagreements. Can you believe it? We have disagreements, and so do you. If you're going to date anybody, there's going to always be conflict.
Right.
And you've got to be good at what we call conflict
Resolution.
resolution. And so, but when I think about it, for better or worse, now we get into these marriages, but you was talking about something earlier as we were preparing. You started talking about, people, but before they get married, it's an event.
Right.
Talk about that.
Yeah, because all I see on social media, to ask someone, will you be my girlfriend or boyfriend? That's an event. You have to have a whole big thing for that.
Yeah.
Don't talk about the proposal.
Yeah.
That's a big event. We
Yeah.
already mentioned that earlier.
Yeah.
And then now the thing is, after you get married, you pick your wedding party.
Before you get married,
Before you get married, you pick your wedding party.
See how I was right there. See
Yeah,
how to straighten that out.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, thank you.
Picking your wedding party.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and then you have to pick someone who has a budget for your wedding, because it seems like they're going on this big weekend trip with all the bridesmaids, and they all have the same outfits for each day and everything that they're doing, and so they're planning this big event, and then the groomsmen having their trip where they go on, and so they plan all these big events. Then the wedding, I'm talking about the wedding.
Yeah.
These big extravagant weddings, and when it comes down to having a marital what we call it
Conflict?
conferences and stuff.
Yeah, marriage conferences.
You don't want to do that. We don't want to find out more about how we can stay together or something. Like you don't see anything when it comes down to paying the pastor to for y'all to do y'all wedding.
But wait a minute, we're not gonna get into paying the pastor.
Okay.
We're not gonna get into that.
Okay.
That's a whole nother.
That's a whole nother
a whole nother
conversation.
thing. That's a whole nother
But
thing.
I'm just saying, sometimes you need to find out about this person before you get married.
Yes.
So you have to sit down and talk to one another and we talk about building a team versus building an event.
But let me say this though. That you talk about the pastor. Yeah, the pastor ought to get paid. But what I'm trying to get to is the idea of
Counseling. That's why I say conferences,
Yeah.
parish counseling.
Yeah, but
Counseling.
let me say this though. Most time people get into a marriage or to relationships uninformed, not being properly prepared and equipped. And I just turned down doing a wedding because they wanted me to do a ceremony void of the counseling, and I cannot do that. That's like asking a surgeon to perform surgery, but I don't need the anesthesiologist. You know. I don't need that. I don't need no prep work. Just roll me in, put me on the table, and slice me open. That's what getting married is like. Can you visualize that? That's like what marriage is like when you don't get the proper instruction. Because you're gonna have to understand and learn how to deal with conflict.
Right.
And that doesn't guarantee you that you won't have that you won't have problem. But it does guarantee you that you can anticipate that we're gonna have it. Doesn't catch you off guard.
Right.
And we do know how to handle it when it does come. Because it's gonna show up now. It's gonna show up so many different forms and fashion. Whether it's gonna be money issues, it's gonna be sexual issues, and that's something we're gonna have to talk about what happens when you start getting older.
Yeah.
The sex issues and all the body goes through transformation. And like when Lenore met me, I had a 12-pack. I was boy, my God, I'm turning my cell phone just talking about it.
What you had a what?
I had a 12-pack.
You did?
Man, I had muscles pow 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 pow.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
sure did. Don't let her tell y'all no different. But listen, and she was a size 0. She was a size 0.
I was a 0. They
She
thought
was a 0.
that he was messing with somebody underage.
Man, yeah, we was in what was it? We was in Hawaii. We was in Maui. And man, my co-workers said they grabbed me. She would go. I'll never forget. She was going up this spiral staircase from up at the convention center. I said, "Boy, you going? I ain't gonna tell you what they said. They use some words like start with a donkey. Okay, the donkey." You going to jail, man. That was that little bitty girl. I said, man, we the same age. They said, no, ninja, you going to jail. She was so little. She a little bit. I ain't realize she was so pretty and sexy to me. I didn't care how little she was. Listen, my nose was wide open. My eyes was wide open. My head was and look at her now. Look at her now.
Look.
Hey, yeah. She's fully developed and grown.
I'm full grown.
Full grown.
Full grown.
She's a 7-course meal. She ain't no snack.
That's right.
But I can say this. We've had our challenges. And when you talk about for better or worse, building, understanding that, in sickness and in health, to death do us part. Many people, I really believe we take relationships as like a test drive.
Right.
If this don't work out, I'm gonna go back and park it. Oh my God! Speaking of that, remember I had a counseling session once.
Oh goodness.
This guy, he was talking about his wife like she was a automobile. Said,
Right.
she needs to go in and she need to let her hood up and she need to get her oil changed. She need to get all her fluid levels checked. And this is how. Wait a minute, I'm talking about. This is how this guy was talking to me. Right? I'm like, dude, really?
Wow.
And I was saying to myself, she needs to get us far away from him. And he did her a favor. Oh my God, I had listened all my years. Now I've been doing this now. Let's see. I've been doing this now 26 years.
Yeah.
I've been past 26 years preaching I think 29 years. And listen, all my life, I heard it that one time, I never heard it again. I can believe the stuff that I was in. How he was talking to her tires need to be rotated, and she need to have an engine over. That's how he was talking. Okay, I know y'all, listen, that is really crazy.
Yeah.
That is really crazy.
So we don't look at marriage that way.
Yeah, you know,
No.
and but you know, Hollywood gives us a bad image of what marriage is, and the average lifespan of artists and things like that is about 3 years. Hollywood marriage is about 3 years, and though marriages, you know, are made in heaven, the maintenance is up to us here in the earth,
Right.
And you got to work on that thing.
Right. One thing that we said though, that we told each other that we weren't going anywhere. We decided up front that we were going to stick it out. We were going to stay together. So he say that he the main what?
Main
look,
one what?
Say you'll be all right. Just go on in there. You'll be okay.
Who said that? Who said that? Who said that?
Now he trying to change up. He trying to change up.
No. She left me one time. Can y'all believe she left? If she had left me, we would not be sitting here today.
Yep.
She left me one time for about 3 or 4 hours. I couldn't even believe she had walked out that door. And I said to her, she called me, you know, and said, she told me when you was a girl, you better come on back home. We could barely pay the house note. We was up in Woodstock. And we can't pay no hotel bill and no house note. I'm gonna need you to come. I'm gonna need you to come on.
Well, we're gonna talk about what happened
Listen,
for me to
listen,
leave
all that
England
ain't
later.
important. All that ain't
But we
important.
did say we weren't gonna leave each other. But we just
Oh,
sometimes
Lord.
we needed that little bit of space. But
Listen,
we came
you're
back.
not gonna put all your business out in the street because you're not putting mine out there.
Wait, well, we doing this podcast, so they need to know
They don't
conflict
need to-
resolution,
They don't need to know what.
forgiveness,
they don't-
conflict resolution. That's things we're gonna be
I don't
talking
even-
about.
I don't even know all them people.
That's okay. We help with relationships.
We have a relationship.
We help with relationships, and we're
Man,
trying to get these
man.
Christian relationships back up, and these Christian marriages where there's conflict resolution and where there's forgiveness.
What about the young lady when we first moved to Atlanta? She was our banker, First Union Bank. And I think she had 5 or 6 children. She was a
Right.
beautiful lady, beautiful young lady. And I wasn't pastoring then, I was minister of music at church. And then I went in the bank one day. Were you with me that day?
No, but you told me about.
Okay, I went in the bank that day and she says, she may call me pastor, minister, I don't know which one, but she says, I'm going through a divorce. And I was like, ooh, you going through a divorce? You got 5 children, 6 children, what you gonna do? And so she said, everybody wants to give me counseling now. But she says, where was everybody before I got married?
Right.
And man, that has always stuck with me. That we, as you said, we invest in all of the activities for the event,
Pre-event, yeah.
for the
Pre-wedding and wedding.
it becomes an event rather than the idea that this is going to be a ceremony. And I often say this, that after the chicken wings and the champagne and the dried chicken and the stale chicken or whatever it is, when all that stops, then reality sets in.
Right.
And now this is where the rubber meets the road. And so, I really think, it's really good. Now I have to say this, and I've said this 1,000 times. Lenone is my second marriage. And I tell her and I tell everybody who will listen, the only difference between my first marriage and my second marriage is my relationship with God. I tell everybody, my first wife, she wasn't bad. It was me. It was me. I knew that I had dreams. I knew I had aspirations, and I was trying to get out the cage, and trying to really, find out what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it. And but it wasn't her. It was me. And but if something happens when you meet your soulmate, not because you do some things you think maybe out of obligation, but when you meet your soulmate, your partner, you know.
Right.
And I knew when I met her. And me and Kara, we had 2 beautiful children, Christy and Kara.
Yeah.
And when you met them, those kids were
Yeah,
little.
Karen was 3.
Yeah.
And Christy was 8.
Really? And so and then when we go on and life goes on, and then we get to the wedding,
Yeah.
and you have the bride, the bride
and the groom side.
My side was him. None of my siblings came. My parents didn't come, not because they didn't love me. They didn't like my decision because I had little kids. And man, so you talking about somebody who's marrying you and not and despite your family not coming, man, that says a lot. And now watch this. And so for about a year, my parents, there was a cord that had been cut, and I won't say cut, but it was, it was strained.
Yeah.
And but I'm tell you something. By the time we got into our marriage, 5, 6, 7 years or whatever that time was, probably before then, man, it was a very different contrast. And your parents and my parents, we all started doing vacation together,
Right.
holidays together.
Yeah.
And my mom would call her known. What known? And but they saw what we went through. Even my sister, my oldest sister today, talks about, man, you guys are always together. You guys are always hanging out. And now she's no longer a sister-in-law, but she's a sister.
Right.
And that just shows you the power of what relationship can, it evolves.
Yes.
A lot of times you see an image or a picture of what a relationship is, but you don't know, here it is. In order for your marriage to look like 30 years, you got to go through 30, you got to go through 30 years
Yes.
of stuff.
Right.
And it's easy to talk about you love someone when everything is rolling and everything's on. But those moments when, I found myself at some low points and some most vulnerable points that, when you're dealing with the public, you're on public platforms and we traveling all over the world. But then those days when you like, man, I don't even think I can get out the bed today because you're so low. But then your partner says, hey, you're going to be all right. When you begin to magnify your own shortcomings and you got them in certain areas, and your partner say, listen, hey, we're going to be all right. Man, that's just really amazing that you have somebody who doesn't care about your vulnerability, but who can accept your vulnerable moments and yet be a coach for you. We're talking about team.
Yeah.
Be a coach for you, be an inspiration for you, and then pull you up. Rather than say, listen, man up. Sometimes as men, sometimes you do get in a low place. You get in a slump.
Right.
I've seen athletes get in a slump. I've seen entertainers and artists and everybody else get in a slump. And sometimes we as pastors get in a slump. And but to have somebody who said, you know what, I'm down with you, and this thing gonna be all right.
Right. You need someone who's gonna, build you up.
Yeah.
And not, it's sometimes we know things may get difficult. We talk about as a team. That's the time for us to come together.
Not only just get difficult, sometimes it seems hard as hell. I'm just gonna be honest. Man, my head hurt. Y'all got my head hurt. When you said the challenge, sometimes there ain't no challenge. I got some other words I want to use, but I can't. But sometimes you be like the sky falling in, the ground opening up,
The sky is falling,
and you about to get swallowed up. Life can be hard,
right?
And I know we always try to spiritualize, but sometimes you be like, man, look, God, okay, now you play too much, man. But that's how it happens. So that's how it is.
Yeah.
That's being brutally.
And that's what you don't need a mason. I said, well, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And so you can't start if you're building a team. There's no you.
Yeah.
And there's no I.
Yeah.
It's us together.
Yeah. How much you got all your ring on? Where your ring at? What?
You know what? I guess I just did. It's okay.
Is something you trying to tell me?
Oh goodness! It's a ring. What yours?
Huh?
What yours?
Mine is eternal.
Oh, okay. See, now they're gonna have a big conversation about rings and what happened to the rings. That's gonna be another podcast. We'll do that. We'll talk about that.
Wow.
We'll talk about that. But I still have on the ring. We started taping, and I meant to pick it up, and I just left it on.
I was just messing with you. But I'm proud. I'm proud to be in a relationship that is strong, and that's very important.
Yeah.
I was watching the Super Bowl the other day, and it didn't look good. It didn't look good, but they kept playing.
Yep.
And they didn't. I noticed the members didn't give up on each other,
Right.
and that's something that somebody needs to hear that today about your relationship, whether you're dating and you can be dating some person. I know this person's for me, and they're still trying to find themselves. You got to stick with them.
Right.
I wasn't as polished. You know, I wasn't near where I am today than where I was when we first started.
Oh yeah.
All I had
Neither
was,
one of us.
All I had was that little yellow pickup truck with some heartbeats on the side. You remember? We got to go.
We've been out here too. We got to go.
We got to go. But you know
Yeah,
what?
what?
You remember that little yellow truck I had when I moved to Atlanta?
I know it.
And I put it in the shop.
And the guy was riding around town.
And I never saw my
Never
truck
did see
again.
that truck again.
I saw that when I saw my truck. Listen, when we first moved, we got some stories. We were, coming from New Orleans and coming from Birmingham. I thought everybody was up and up. Man, it was so many people. Listen, the big little country boy in the big city. Boy, they run all kind of games up, man. Listen, I put my truck in the shop and I couldn't reach the guy. And one day I was going down interstate. My truck was going down interstate on I-20. I'm like, you know what? I'll never forget that. And we was closing on the house one time.
Yeah.
And they told us, y'all, that's Style Stone Mountain. So y'all go ahead, and the agent said, y'all go ahead and put the money up, and then when we close, we'll get y'all money back. Man, we gave them our last money.
And
when we stepped to the out the door, asked my money, what the agent said, what money?
What you talking about?
I start speaking.
Y'all wanted this house.
I start speaking in Chinese.
Well, she said y'all wanted this house.
I start speaking.
See, there you go. That's one of those things. If you're not together as a team,
yeah.
When you get into a new home,
yeah.
You got them bills after that big event, that big wedding. Them bills start hitting, and then you'd be like, man, I should have saved that money.
I need that money back.
I need that money back. We try before warn some of y'all. Try to help you.
Have a ceremony, but have one you can afford, and don't be trying to impress people.
Have some money left over to pay them bills.
People not gonna be impressed. They ain't gonna be impressed with your event. Only you, the only one gonna be impressed. They're gonna be there talking about. Did you see what she had on? And it's
The chicken was dry.
The chicken was dry. The tea wasn't sweet. And I couldn't get no refill, and the bread was cold, and salad with it.
And you done spent $50 a plate.
Yeah, or more than that now.
$75 a plate.
Yeah. But listen, my parents. I had a good example. Not that my parents had it always easy, but they were married 68 years, I think, something like that.
And my parents were married 60 years.
60 years, yeah. And so, it's we had good examples.
Yeah.
And if you're looking for us to be perfect, then you're looking at. But if you need a good pattern to follow, then we want you to tell everybody about our podcast.
Yeah.
And because we're gonna tell you the truth. We're gonna be transparent.
Yeah.
And we understand that transparency brings transformation. So, hey, listen, I'm excited about it, and I was feeling a little puny, but we had made it a commitment that we were going to do what? We were going to do our podcast at least. So, hey, listen, each Thursday, you can go to our YouTube page and Christopher Chappelle, and right now it's Christopher Chappelle, but we're going to change it. And my time is up, but we're gonna change it. But
when we get the name, we could leave it at Chris and L.
I tell you what, why don't we do this? Those of you who have a name, send us a name.
Yeah.
And what you think we should call our podcast. And then if we select your name, then we're gonna give you a night out.
Yeah.
I think that's what you said earlier.
Right. Yeah.
We'll give you a night out. As we close out, look at that camera. Tell somebody one thing you would want them to know about marriage that has been a saving grace for you.
That has been a saving grace?
Or whatever you want to tell them.
Whatever you want to tell them.
That somebody needs to know about marriage. Yeah.
Just continue just to believe in your spouse.
Yeah.
To trust your spouse, and that's one big.
But what about
major
somebody
thing.
who's not married, but can they trust? Can they believe in the person they're dating?
Oh yeah, they have to believe in the person that you're dating. Okay. If you don't have trust, and if you don't believe that person, it will not last.
Yeah.
It will Let me say it again. It will not last.
Yeah, yeah.
And so that's one of the major things. No matter what you're going through, you have to trust in that person. You have to trust that they love you and they have your well-being in their heart. Sometimes they may say things, but you know deep you don't mean it.
Yeah.
So because you know that person, and if you don't know that person, you can't say that. Then maybe y'all need to just be friends.
Okay, your time up. Hey, listen, I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you right here. My lasting moment with you is understand, be authentic. Be yourself.
Yeah.
Don't, if you if you know your stuff coming out your body is foul, it's foul, because when you start getting serious about it, they're gonna be saying, well, what is that? So they're gonna already know what they're getting into. So you need to know. so
Don't be
yeah.
hiding that.
Don't be hiding
Don't-
nothing.
If you like to eat, go ahead and
Go
eat.
eat.
Be yourself.
One
Yeah.
of my daughters, she dated a man and she like to eat. That little thing like to eat. eat. So, I'm just saying, be true. Be true to yourself and be authentic.
Okay.
And that person will be able to embrace you. If they can't embrace you for your truth and your authenticity, then that person ain't for you. Listen, I was gonna tell the people that.
He went there.
I can tell people.
I didn't know you was gonna say
But
that.
we got to be truthful. We
That's
got to be
right.
authentic.
That's right.
And so I was just being truthful and authentic.
Okay.
Be yourself. Be who you are.
That's you.
And I don't do that on the first date, but maybe that second, third round, the company talking, what's that? You know what that is. Hey, listen, we got to go. Hey, it's been Chris and we're gonna catch you on next week. All right, peace. God bless you. Bye bye.